So, when I was a hedge fund trader, I worked at a discretionary macro fund in Hong Kong. Look, we did trade a lot in the currency space. And look, our trading strategy wasn't too complex. It was actually pretty simple. What we tried to do is find currencies that were trending. So it didn't matter whether or not those currencies were weak or whether or not those currencies were strong. It's just that they needed to be trending. And then obviously what we try to do then is to jump onto that trend, ride that trend, look, this is where you're going to make the most money, is basically being on trends. So look, translating that experience to my job at BCR now has actually been quite simple, in that when I communicate to clients, when I talk to them, when I do seminars, when I do market updates or any sort of market research, it's always focused on what currencies are maybe potentially trending or what currencies are trending. So it's to educate the clients basically, which a lot of them are trading currencies in the short term, to think in the big picture that money's made, trend following. Translating that experience to the clients is something that has been an easy transition. Now look, the CFD industry is losing its personal touch, especially with a lot of the bigger CFD brokers. They are just now big marketing machines. They are onboarding thousands of clients all the time, and those clients are actually onboarding themselves. And that client and its journey with that CFD broker never really gets to speak to another human. And so when traders and clients lose that personal touch, they start losing a little bit of trust. So at BCR, what we do on our sales desk is that every client, no matter how big or small, has a dedicated client advisor. And so we actually welcome our clients to communicate with our client advisors, whether it's to do with what's happening in the market or what's happening with say their trading, or anything to do with the platform. So any help they need, the client advisors are there to talk to them. We're trying to bring some of that old school personal touch, old school broking back to CFD industry. And so I think that's where a lot of maybe other CFD brokers can learn from BCR, is to bring that personal touch back, which will build more trust and actually build more longer term relationships with the clients. When it comes to information asymmetry in the foreign exchange market, there is a lot of it. And for the simple reason is that foreign exchange is traded 90% OTC, so over the counter. So there are a lot of dark liquidity pools between banks, hedge funds, big corporates, central banks, where they are dealing with each other. Now that flow is important to see what those big boys are doing, and CFD traders aren't privy to that information, that flow. Now look, that is something that is obviously very hard to fix, to get that information to CFD traders. But what we do at BCR is that we try to provide them with as much information about what is happening in live markets. We do that in a couple of ways. One is that every single one of the client advisors on the sales desk, we make sure that we hire traders. So that when clients who are traders are talking to them, they're going to get good information about what's happening in the market. The second thing is that we do a lot of market updates and a lot of market research. So from the morning, throughout the day, and the end of the day. So we're constantly trying to feed our clients with as much live information about exactly what is happening in the market. Sustainable development is very important. There's lots of little ways that brokers can integrate sustainable development. One is obviously trying to decrease their carbon footprint. And BCR, a little way that we've done that over the years is that we've become a paperless office. But besides trying to decrease carbon footprint, there are other ways that brokers can integrate sustainable development. One of those is that what we do as brokers is that we provide markets. That's the best thing that we do. And in those markets, and for example at BCR, we deliver a lot of markets of single stocks. Here in Australia on the ASX, we've got single stock CFDs. In Japan, also in Hong Kong, and obviously in the US, where most brokers offer single stocks. Now, in all those exchanges, there are lots of ESG solutions or companies that clients, if they want to invest or trade and promote sustainable development, our client advisors are more than happy to tailor-make trading and investments towards those single stocks that are in ECG space. And finally, probably another way that brokers can integrate sustainable development is that most brokers have huge marketing departments, big marketing budgets, where that goes into a lot of sponsorship. A lot of that sponsorship is obviously in the sporting field, sponsoring sports teams, etc. But some of that potentially then maybe can be channeled into more green sponsorship and sustainable development. So there's a few ways that brokers can promote and integrate sustainable development. Now, WikiFX does a fantastic job as working as a de facto global regulator of the CFD industry. Now, it's great that they call out a lot of the bad actors, but it's also important to call out the good actors, and that's exactly what the WikiFX Golden Insight Award does. Is that it recognises the good actors in the CFD industry, puts them up on a pedestal, and that way that the market can see exactly and want to work with those actors that are doing the right thing. Now, over time, the WikiFX Golden Insight Award is obviously going to gain a lot of credibility, and it's also going to gain a lot of prestige. And what will happen, obviously, is that the professionals and the participants in the industry are going to want the award, and to do that, they're going to have to compete, and the competition is just going to bring a more healthier CFD and forex broking environment for everyone. There is no other platform like WikiFX and its products and services that plays a role in being a de facto regulator of the CFD and forex broking industry. So playing that role is vital, and so WikiFX, its products and services are actually essential.